Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2009 Volvo S40 T5 R Design. Up front is a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 5, and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this S40 for two reasons. First of all, I always love driving Volvos from this era. I think they have a certain charm. I'm excited to share with you what that is and why that is. But the second reason is that this is an R design, so this is not your grandma's S40. This actually had some slight performance bits done to it. It was kind of the hopped up hot boy version, and I'm excited to share that with you today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me borrow their S40 R design for today's video. More on them towards the end, but if you'd like to browse their inventory, you can do so down in the description below. Let's get back to that inline 5. Well, in this era, Volvo was offering inline 5 turbos. This is the 2.5 liter version, and it was also used, because Ford had a controlling share in Volvo during the time, used in the Ford Focus RS that was sold overseas in Europe. So we unfortunately did not get this in the Focus here in the States, but it did exist otherwise. It's a very nice engine, makes 227 horsepower. I've always loved how cool and interesting 5 cylinders are, and it certainly has the get up and go that you're looking for. Like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. This is one of the downsides of the S40, or at least this particular one that I am driving. Now, you could find them in manual. This just sadly isn't that. It's fine. It's doing the job. I don't hate it. It doesn't have the fastest kick down, but then again, this isn't the most hardcore sports car ever, so I guess it falls somewhere in the middle. Last but not least, this particular S40 is front wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the S40 R design? Well, it's nice. It doesn't beat you up. You know, the R design was the sportier version, and so sometimes when companies do sportier versions, they absolutely massacre the suspension feel. It's not true here. It still actually rides relatively nice, although it has a more planted feel. Visibility is good. I like the size of the car as well. This is a smaller car that Volvo offered, so I enjoy it all around. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my speedometer and fuel, and off to the right is the tachometer and coolant temperature. On the steering wheel, we do get cruise as well as our selectors for cruise, and off to the right, we have our skip track, volume, and phone options, as well as we do get this really nice R design badge down at the center of the steering wheel. I do have to note on the steering wheel, there's this little metal piece. It's 90 degrees today. I got in. This metal piece was the surface of the sun. It actually burned my hand. Like, it still kind of tingles. So just be wary of that if you end up picking up one of these. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, headlight switch, fog light switch, and gas cap release. We actually technically have 2 fog light switches for front and rear. Very European. Moving out of the door, we have giant lock and unlock buttons with the latch to get in and out, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we have 2 climate control vents, along with the hazard switch, and our very vertical radio. So this is a little bit before touchscreens were so well integrated into cars. So we have a lot of buttons. Some would say peak button here. We have a number pad. I mean, when was the last time you saw a number pad in a car? But we have volume, tuning, fan speed, and temperature off to the right. Pretty simple, and the climate controls are down here as well. The Ford man, diagram of the man sitting, commonly found in Ford products, is also found here in the Volvo. Then we do get the shifter in the center. You can shift it over and plus minus if you would like. However, I don't want to. Then we do get a 12-volt outlet and cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test. The big friggin' bottle looks like it goes in, and honestly it does go in a little bit, but it doesn't sit super flush, and if you take a corner it will fall out, so that's how shallow it really sits. Plus I can kind of feel the plastic bowing a little bit when I try it, so unfortunately it's so close, but alas it fails the big friggin' bottle test. The seats are comfortable, they are leather, and they are heated. They are power as well, so some nice luxury touches here in the S40 R design. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the Volvo S40 T5 R design, and a couple of things to note, but mainly the fact that it's not great back here. My knees are hitting the seat in front of me. I can't even really put my feet flat on the floor without smushing. My head is coming close to the ceiling. The S40 was one of these smaller chassis. They also had like the C30, which is even smaller and has a worse back seat, but that was a two-door hatchback. This is not great. You could fit your friends back here. I'm sure many of you have, many of you will. It's not the end of the world, but definitely Volvo offered better cars of the era with a lot better seating. So unfortunately, this just isn't the best, but that's okay. We do have a pull-out center console with cup holders, but unfortunately no climate vents down below, just a 12-volt outlet. Let's hop into the trunk. We'll take a quick look back there, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the S40 T5 R design, there's a little button underneath here that you press, and then here is the trunk. Nothing too crazy. Again, like the back seat, not a whole ton of space. This is a smaller chassis, but I did mention that I like the size of it. You're just going to sacrifice a little bit of trunk space and a little bit of back seat space, but that's it. Nothing crazy. There it is. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I think this is a relatively handsome car. I like the R design flares with the lip and the wing and all of that sort of stuff. It does look sportier than other Volvos, certainly not your mom's Volvo or your dad's Volvo. This was kind of one for the kids, and we'll get into that a little bit with the final thoughts segment, but I do overall like the design of it. I think it's relatively subtle, although I still think that modern Volvos are pretty subtle as well, so I think they've done a good job with consistency over the last 16 years. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the S40 R design? Well, I've really enjoyed this experience. I think this car is really good. It's fun. That 5-cylinder is really the cherry on top. It makes solid power. It's sporty without going over the edge. Like, this is something you can so easily daily drive, but still have fun on your drive home. You know, that twisty route you take home from the office, you could hit a couple curves in this. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it a lot more than maybe a basic S40 or other vehicle. But my ending point is that this was really Volvo's like angsty era. This was kind of their like teenage rebellion era. Because take a look at the Volvos that I've driven from the 80s and the 90s. These are boxy, boring grandma cars. Now, they're incredibly reliable, they're great cars, and I love the Volvo 240s and whatnot. But there wasn't an R-design version of that. There wasn't a blood-pumping, toe-curling version. The Volvo 240, I know people LS swap them, in its standard format is so dog-terrible slow that watching paint dry seems like an Olympic event comparatively. This was actually something fun. This feels like they were rebelling against that social norm that Volvo themselves was following the previous decades. This feels like, screw you, Mom! I don't eat vegetables! Yeah! I couldn't think of a third one. That's what this car feels like, and I sort of enjoy that. This feels like it's raging against the machine of the Swedes. This feels contrarian. It feels like the black sheep of the Volvo family. And I like that. I like it that this car is different. It's unique. It has its own sort of personality. It doesn't take no for an answer, nor does it need a yes to go about its business. It's kind of a free spirit. This car comes from a lineage of bankers and lawyers and doctors. This car pursues TikTok. This car starts a website so three-legged dogs can have sweaters during the holidays. And the ironic thing is that it makes just as much money as its lawyer, banker, doctor siblings or forefathers. Just does it in a very different way. This car is very different than the standard Volvo or the Volvos that came before it. And that's why I like it. It's angsty, it's on the edge. This car wears leather jackets and sucks on toothpicks. This car is the Fonz, but everyone wanted to be the Fonz. And everyone secretly wants a Volvo S40 T5 R design, and I'm happy to be driving one here today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me borrow their S40 T5 R design for today's video. They're absolutely wonderful. They always have cool and interesting inventory. This is just one of their awesome specimens, but please go search them out using the link down in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.